Hey there, big dogs. Rob here for Chapter 2 of 12 Pillars, and Chapter 2 is titled Live a Life of Health. You should make sure that the outside of you is a good reflection of the inside of you. So my cliff notes on it are this. Michael, after that last encounter, saw the success of Mr. Davis and, wanted more of that. Wanted to know how to get there and how to achieve that success. He just, was burning bright after that. Just knowing that it's possible to, not live a life of mediocrity. And, he was tired of being complacent and, blaming his circumstances on because of where he was today. So Michael just calls up Charlie and says, "Hey man, can I come over, chat with you? Last time I met with you, I've been fired up ever since. I've, never stopped thinking about the possibility of being successful and, what you told me about the first pillar, and I've been working on it, man. I've been, I created my list of 10 things, and I've been working on it day to day. It's my goal to, work on just one a day, and just making those small steps to progress." And so Charlie's like, "Yeah, man, come on over." So Charlie comes over, sees Michael working in the garden, and Charlie's thinking, "What's up, Charlie? Why do you want to see me?" And, tell me. And, like I said, Michael, was needing a change in his life. He had given up and just accepted mediocrity. He realized he wanted more for his life. And, just seeing Mr. Davis's house and all, it gave him a vision of what, he could become. And so he just kind of so he said that, and then he's like, "Well, I was also kind of wondering if you could tell me the other pillars. He told me one. I know there's 12. Hook me up, brother." And, of course, Charlie was like, "Well, did you work on the first one? Because I'm not going to tell you the second one if you haven't worked on the first one." And so Michael's like, "Yeah, man, I've been, I created my list of things. I've been working on them. I try to do one every day." And he's like, "All right, I'll tell you pillar number 2. And so pillar number 2 is total well-being. And that Mr. Davis believes in what he calls the three-dimensional health. And what three-dimensional health is, health is more than just looking good and being fit. It's about the soul, health of the soul and your intellect. And, the other one is your core, your core health, and that's spirituality and eternal life." And, Michael's like, "All right, explain more. I'm kind of confused." And so Charlie goes on to explain, well, your body's your body, it's, working out, and then your soul is your intellect, you're reading books. And then the spirituality part is he says, that's do you believe in eternal life and faith? And so, Charlie kind of asks Michael, puts it in his court and asks him, like, let's go through these things with you and see how you fare out. And, how's your fitness? How's your health? And, Michael's like, "Well," we're looking down at this 40-year-old stomach, he says, "Well, I'm in good shape, yeah, I guess." And he's like, "All right." Charlie says, "All right, well, what about your intellect, your emotions, your spiritual life?" And Michael said, "Well, I admit I don't read much. I watch television in my free time." And then Michael says, "Well, your spiritual life?" And Charlie's like, "Your spiritual life?" Michael's like, "Well," he was silent. He didn't say anything. So at that point, Michael knew he had stuff to work on. And, kind of upset, defeated. He's like, "Man, I'm not there yet. I got stuff to work on." And, Charlie's like, "It's fine, And he goes on to, further explain the 3 dimensions, and that it's like a layered onion. And your outside is only as strong as your inside. So your health, your body is only as strong as your soul health and your intellect, but your intellect and soul is only as strong as your spiritual health." And so Michael, he's all confused now. He's like, "Where the heck do I start?" And Charlie says, "Well, start at the roots, your core. And what's that? Your spiritual health." He says, start by going back to your roots. Read good material that will help you reflect on spiritual life. Go back to church. And so, good. We covered spiritual health. And then he's like, "Well, what about exercise? Do you do exercise?" He's like, "No, not really. I just don't have time." So Charlie says, well, just go for a nightly walk, half hour. You have a wife, right? He's like, yeah, well, go for a walk with her at night. It'll be good for her. It'll be good for you. Win-win. So Charlie's got a little more excitement at this point. Michael, sorry. So Michael's got a little more excitement at this point. He's got a solution to the problems that he's found that he needs to work on. And then Charlie just kind of ends it on this. Michael, you should make sure that the outside of you is a good reflection of the inside of you. And so that's chapter 2. My reflection on it is that sometimes we put Advocare in the forefront of everything, and that shouldn't be the case. As easy it is, it shouldn't be that way. You need to work on exactly what Charlie talked about, is your spiritual health. For Kayla and myself, we'll listen to Joel Osteen all the time. We read spirituality books all the time just to build that core health up. And then, the soul health, the intellect, we read all the time. We read every morning. And then obviously our outside of the health is, we're working out, we're staying fit. So it's absolutely important to put those things first, because you're going to find that your Advocare business is going to struggle when you don't have you under control and you at its best. One other thing is, for example, we're listening to Joel Osteen today and on a message called I Am. And he just talks about when you're talking about yourself and you wake up every morning, you're like, I am old, I'm lazy, I'm tired. Speaking all that in here is going to resonate out here. You're going to walk around, you're going to be tired, you're going to be unhappy, you're not going to be smiling. People aren't going to look at you and, say, wow, that person's so cool, I want to be with them. I want to be friends with them. But if you change that mindset, if you change what's in here talking, and you say, I am strong, I am bold, I'm courageous, I'm good looking, your appearance out there and how you carry yourself out running errands and stuff is going to be completely different than how you were speaking earlier. You're going to be smiling, you're going to have confidence, you're going to be floating, you're going to have a glow about you. So that's exactly what Michael or Charlie was talking about in this chapter, was that get this set in here. Because if you have this set in here, everything about you from the outside is going to look right. So yeah, that's my take on this. And so my discussion question is that the 3 dimensions of health, and what are which one of the dimensions, or if there's multiple, that you need to work on. Figure that out first. And then write how you're going to fix that. Before this, Kayla and I, needed to build up our spirituality. And so we started listening to the message on Sirius all the time, or we listened to Joel Osteen, in our free time, or reading books, to build our soul health up. That, rather than turn the TV on and watch the junk that's on there, we decided to read books. And so that's, we noticed we needed to improve in these areas, and we said, all right, how are we going to do that? And we came up with a solution. So, discussion question. What do you guys need to work on? Which dimension of health? And then how are you going to do it? That's chapter 2 for y'all. And tune into chapter 3 next week.